So thank you for joining our September webinar. This month's webinar is going to be about applying to 2021 events as an artist. And so we're going to spend most of our time on the artist side of ZAPP with a little bit of time spent on the admin side of ZAPP, finding the things that you might need to send them during your communications. We're going to go through 3 separate scenarios within this webinar, one of which is applying to an invitational only event or an invite only event, which requires a code to even apply. The second of which is going to be rolling over applications with a coupon code. And the third of which is going to be applying as a brand new artist in 2021. So we'll start off with an invitational only event. So as an artist, the first thing I'm going to need before I apply to an invite-only event is the code. So I've set up one of our demo events, the ZAPP Waterfall Art Festival, as an invite-only event. You can find, if your event is invite-only, you can find your access code by clicking on the event editor, and then the code will show on the upper right-hand side, just like this. You can take the code, copy it, and go into the communication tool to send it to last year's artist. So to do that, after you've copied it, you'll go to Events Communication, and you'll find an event from the past. So we can just choose any event here. So we could do like Creative for Testing in this case, and you could select the artists to which you plan to offer the invite-only code to, the artists who are rolling over from 2020 to 2021. Go ahead and keep going. We don't have any artists in this event, so I'm not going to be able to pull up the communication table, but you can also filter by tagged and flags. So there are a couple of ways you could have chosen to organize your 2020 event so that you could send this code pretty easily. One of which is keep all of the artists who are rolling over from 2020 to 2021 and are going to need that access code in one of the statuses that can be confirmed, invited, other, accepted, kind of anything that you like. Or you could have tagged them as 2021, and if that is the case, you can choose to include only tagged or flagged applicants, and the tag 2021, if that's what you used, would show up here, and you'd be able to filter and just send the invite code to them. So once I receive the invite code as an artist, I could come over to ZAPP. I'm already logged in, as you can see, and to find an event that is currently accepting applications, I'm going to go to Apply to Shows. When an artist logs in, they're automatically going to be on their My ZAPPlications page, which is going to include a list of the applications that are currently quote unquote in progress. So that might be festivals that they're waiting to hear back from, festivals that they need to purchase a booth from, and festivals that they are currently going to but haven't happened yet. Once an event date passes, they can move themselves into the archive status, super simply, and they can move an application into the archived area, and they still have full records of all of their applications on ZAPP. They just don't necessarily need to be on their main homepage. So as an artist looking for this invited event that I got a code for, I'm going to go to Apply to Shows, and I can do one of 2 things. I can either search directly for the event in this search bar, or I can show invite-only events to pull up a list. So we only have a couple of invite-only events that are currently accepting applications, one of which is the Waterfall Show, which I set up to be invite-only for this webinar. And so once I'm in here, you'll see something that looks pretty normal, looks like pretty much every other event information page. I can click on any of these buttons to jump down to different sections. I can see the jury details if that's applicable. Invite-only events probably won't be super applicable because you probably aren't jurying again. And I can also see a timeline of dates and deadlines, including the event start date, purchase deadline. If you include a jury notification deadline, it will show up here as well. And if I am an artist who's doing this invite only, and maybe I don't want to do this application right now, but I want to remember it for the future, I want to click favorite event, and then I'll be able to filter by favorites on the Apply to Shows page, which we were just on, or events list, which is the same page, just with all of the events instead of just the ones accepting applications. But say I'm ready to apply to this event now, I can go where it says enter access code, paste in the access code that was sent, and click apply. I'll immediately be taken to the legal agreement. If the code is wrong, I won't even make it to this page. So I'll click yes, agree. Now I've started an application, and I can fill out the application as necessary. I'm just going to fill out some of the stuff just kind of off the top of my head. But this is a really good opportunity if you are an event who is doing invite only to ask questions that you might need for your actual event. So if you need information like license plate, are you planning to rent a car? Are you planning to bring a car or a van? What clearance do you need? all of that information you could ask on your ZAPPlication form now, because you're just going to be collecting information from artists who are already invited. So I'm also going to say, yes, I was already invited to this event. And then I've asked kind of a qualifying question here as an administrator, which is, can you add your application ID from 2020 below, so that if I was an administrator, I could take that information and cross it with my 2020 event, and I could double check that the people who are using the code, or this is also true if you're using a coupon code to have artists roll over into 2021, I could double check to make sure that they actually did apply in 2021, so long as I have their application ID. I've also added help text right as part of the question instead of like the little help question mark, so that they can know really easily that, hey, application IDs for 2020 can be found on your My Applications page. So I'm going to also show you guys how to find that. So I'm going to click save so that I don't have to come back and do what I already did. And then I'm going to go back to my Applications page, and you can see that I already have an application ID for this event. But say I had the 2020 event application archived, I could go into it, I could pull the application ID for the 2020 event, go back to my applications, click complete. All of the work that I just did was saved, and I can go ahead and add that application ID in there super easily, and then you will be able to double check. I'll click save and continue, and now I can come down into my images. We did recently update how artists can add images to their application. So if this is an invite-only event, you might not want to have a booth shot. Maybe you'll just have like 2 to 3 promotional images that you'll want to use, and you can specify that they're promotional by adding kind of an invite-only question to this main application section. So you could say, hey, the images you submit below will be used for promotional purposes only. They're not going to be used for a jury, because invite-only events are not likely to have a jury. However, for artists if this wasn't an invite-only event and this was a jury, the order of the images might matter. And so I can click change image order, and then I can drag and drop images into the correct place. And then I click save and preview when I'm ready and everything looks good. And as an artist, I can just kind of double check this. So the really nice thing about invite-only events, if you're in a position where you have your entire artist group set before you even before you open your application, you know who's going to be in your event. The nice thing you can do is have $0 fees, because you're not going to be worrying about artists who weren't invited last year applying, because they won't have the code to even access the application. So I've kept my fee as $0. And as an artist, I can go right down here to payment information, and I can check out free items, click submit. I'll get a refund receipt just so that I know that as an artist that this application has been submitted. I can also check as an artist that it's been submitted by going back to my ZAPPlications, and you will see that Waterfall Art Festival, which is the one we just applied to, does exist here. I've left the jury in progress, probably because I was testing something for another event, but typically this would say received, just like this one says down here. I can also double check deadlines on this page, see the event date, see my current status. I can collapse and expand these as well so that I could see everything at a glance, or just see things one at a time. I can reference my receipts by clicking on the payments link, and it will pull a pop-up just like this. So that's also helpful if an artist does have questions about fees they paid last year. They'll be able to see payments right here. If you did refunds for any fees that from your canceled event, you had a refund, you had ZAPP process those refunds, they will also have a refund receipt, which will be I think it's -1 times whatever the cost is. So they'll be able to see both the receipt for purchasing the product and the receipt for receiving the refund. So if they do have questions about that and ZAPP processed your refunds, you can always direct them to us. Right on our homepage, we have a contact support button. You're welcome to tell them to click it, or you can click on it and send them that email, and that is our artist support line, and we will be able to help them out if they have specific questions about last year's event. This is also true if you've handed them an invite-only code and they haven't figured out where to put it, can't find it, you're welcome to pass them along to us, and we're happy to walk them through that. So that's kind of the first part of applying to an invite-only event. Likely what will happen is if you have an invite-only event, you will pretty much immediately be moving artists to the invited or confirmed status, just kind of depending. So say in this case, all I want to do is have artists reserve their booth space. They've already paid for it, and I just have kind of like one flat booth space, and I just want double confirmation that they intend to come. And so I'm going to move this artist to invited. I'm going to click update all. My jury was in progress, so I'm going to take some time right now just to move it out of progress so that artists can indeed accept invitations. And now, if I'm the artist and I come back here, I can see that I'm invited to the Waterfall Festival 2020. I can accept and reject the invitation just to say, yes, I still intend to come now that we've moved into the 2021 season. I am sure of it. I can accept the invitation, and I also now have the option to purchase items. So I kept this fee as free, but if you're in a position where you're invite only, but you've never accepted booth payments, so you're accepting booth payments now, you could have booth payments listed here and be collecting booth payments through ZAPP. If you just want to do it reservation based and kind of be like, you know, I want to know which booth they intend to buy, so maybe you're not selling booths on ZAPP, or maybe you already have kind of like a register and just want to double check, you can have them purchase, quote unquote, a booth product. I call it reserve when it's $0, and then they can go ahead and check out a free product. As soon as I do that, because it was a booth product, my application for this invite only event is going to be confirmed, and I'm going to see that I have purchased or reserved both of these products. And so that's kind of how I can handle, that's how it's going to look essentially to be an invite only event for an artist on ZAPP. And the other cool thing is, you know, if you are having artists purchase booths and you're managing that part of the process on ZAPP, it's not just a reservation, then, you know, you can have them purchase those booths, and you can also add booth numbers, do your management just as you normally would. The big perk to invite only is that you are able to handle the application process without receiving applications from any artists who did not apply and were not invited to 2021. So the second type of event, flying as an artist in 2021, we're going to go over is rolling over with a coupon code. So for that to work, you need to, of course, first set up a coupon code. You can set up a coupon code by going to Events, Coupons. You'll see I have a couple set up here already. We're going to be using a different event for the coupon code one. And I have one set up for 2020 artists, and I have two actually set up for 2020 artists. But how you set up a coupon code, it's really simple. So you can just fill the sections out. So I'll just go through it. You can set it to be 100% off, not 200% off, 100% off. 0 is going to be unlimited uses. If you are rolling over a specific number of artists, you're going to want it to be the number that you need. Keep in mind that if you are, for example, I know of one event that is doing 2 coupon codes, one for artists who purchased a single booth and one for artists that purchased a double booth. So if you intend artists to use the same coupon code to check out 2 products, each time they check something out, that's going to be considered a use. So say you have 50 artists who are going to be applying to your event for free and then checking out a booth product for free, you'll want to have 100 uses for the coupon so that they can each use it twice. So maybe this is 2020 single for a single booth space. The area that people miss most often is changing these start and end dates, and this can prevent the coupon from working if the end date has passed. So maybe for my artists that are rolling over from 2020, they have until the end of the year to purchase their products again or reserve their products again and apply to the event to confirm their attendance to 2021. And so I'm going to also make sure this is available for the application fee and also for the regular booth fee. And then I can add it. And you can also add it for, I believe the event that I was reviewing their coupons, they also had various parking options and meal options, and they reserved all of those because their artists from 2020 had already purchased all of those, and all they needed to do was get a correct count of how many booths they had available and how many meal plans, parking spaces, what was reserved and what wasn't. So for that event, they're having their artists go in and reserve all of the products for free. If you need artists to purchase booths, you can just have it waive the application fee by doing 100% off the application fee only and not checking any booth products. I'll leave it on booth products for now. And so then, just like with invitational only events, I'd want to go to communication. I'd want to go and look in my archived events, pull an archived event, and then choose from this list essentially who I want to send it to. So for this, typically events that are rolling artists over from 2020 are tagging them in some way because they have more of a mixture. With invite-only events, we tend to see the entire confirmed artist base move over. With coupon events, we see about 50 to 70% of the artist base move over. A lot of events who are doing that will have tagged them within a specific group. So maybe they're within confirmed artists, but you've tagged them 2021 artist. And so then you can go in, select them from the tags below, click select, compose your email, send them the coupon code. And then as an artist, once I have the coupon code, I'm going to start by searching for the event just like I normally do. Let me go with Lilac, which was the event we were looking at initially. Everything is going to look the same, except that there's not going to be an access code at the top. If I apply to the event more than once as an artist, I can always see the applications, review the applications that I already submitted, and I can look through all of the information again just to double check. So if you are going to have multiple different policies for 2020 artists who are rolling over to 2021 and then new 2021 artists, I would also just make sure it's clear within your event information page which policies and which refund policies apply to 2020 artists and which ones apply to new 2021 artists. Then we'll click apply to the show. Pretty similar. It'll pop up a warning if there's been more than one application, but I'm just going to go ahead. Same as before, these are the 2 required sections. So they'll be on every single application. And then I have a couple more questions here. This is what a help link will look like on the artist side of ZAPP right now. So if you click that question mark, a ZAPP help little box will show up and you can have more information about that question there. So what I was referencing in the invite event section where artists could find their application ID on their My Applications page, and I kept that in the question, you could also have it in this pop-up when you're creating your custom question on the admin side of ZAPP. And if anybody's interested in custom questions, I can definitely go over that at the end of the webinar. So I'll just go ahead and choose some of these. And then one of the things I've done with this event is added a question with conditional logic. So this is going to be, did you apply in 2020? It's going to be a useful question if you have a mixture of artists who are rolling over from 2020 and artists who are not. It's just going to help you keep things a bit more clean. When you download your list from ZAPP and you download your data, you will be able to sort that data. You'll be able to use Excel sheets, whatever spreadsheet user you use, to sort, filter by this question. So this might be very useful. And so basically, if I'm an artist who came from 2020, I'm going to click yes, and then this question is going to appear. This is again my verification question. I'll just put in a couple of random numbers this time. But if I had said no, this question would never have appeared at all. And you can actually essentially create 2 custom applications in this way, where you pull a bunch of information just for artists who applied in 2020, and then you can pull separate information from artists who applied in 2021. This might help streamline the process for your artists who applied in 2020 and maybe don't need to see and answer all of the questions from 2021. But if for whatever reason you want updated answers, you want just to get the information again, so it's super easy for you, you can also just have no conditional logic and have the applications for 2020 and 2021 artists be pretty much the same and all the questions be pretty much the same. So conditional logic is totally optional, but it is there for you to use as a tool if you're interested. So I'm going to click save. Just as a habit, always good to click save. And same as before, this is going to look the same, and I can just kind of pull all of this. If I want to change the image order, I can click change, pull stuff over, and then once I'm ready, click save and preview. And then I will move into the review section. So this is where it's also going to differ a bit from an invite-only event. So invite-only, what's going to happen is the fee is $0. As we can see, since I use the same account, it's shown as already purchased. But the application fee for Lilac is $30, and it's $30 because I intend, as an admin, I would intend for some artists to pay that $30 fee, and then for some artists to use a coupon code to avoid it. So I can go to next step, or I can go directly to the 3rd step, which is add coupons. And right in this coupon code box, I can just add the coupon that I created and click apply. And immediately it will give me 100% off. So it's super duper important that if artists are using a coupon code, that they do use it. One of the things we do is we don't typically process refunds that are the result of failure to use a coupon code. So we really stress the importance of artists not applying if they do have a coupon code. We just ask that they wait, or they email us, or give somebody time to look into it before they apply and pay the fee. Because if they pay the fee, it kind of creates a bit of a, it just creates a lot more work for everyone involved. And it's not typically within our policy to refund those fees. So we just really stress, make sure that artists know to use the coupon code. And you are absolutely welcome, when you're sending the email, to send them a couple of different resources. We have a coupon code PDF that I'm happy to send any admin who is curious about it and wants to send it as well. We also have a video tutorial that contains a section on using coupon codes and what it should look like when they are used successfully. And you're also welcome to send along our artist helpline. So you can say, your email could essentially look like, here are some resources, here's the coupon code, here is a PDF on using the coupon code, here's a video tutorial on using the coupon code. If you cannot use the coupon code, reach out to contact@weststaff.org. You can get that just by clicking contact us on this page. It's also right here at the top of this page right now, because we have this guideline up here right now, which won't be there forever, but will probably be there for a bit longer. So, you're welcome to send all those resources to them. We're really happy to help them out and make sure that they're using coupon codes as they go, rather than, paying for the fee, then realizing they shouldn't have paid for the fee and wanting a refund. Typically what happens if they ask for a refund, we ask that you add that coupon code towards the booth fee, and then they can use the coupon code on the booth fee. But if they're not paying for a booth, that makes it a little bit more complicated. Anyway, so I'll go to next step, and then again, I have a free item and I can go ahead and check that out, click submit. And similar to the other event, I will move into received. I believe this event also has a jury in progress from when I was demoing rolling juries, but I can see as an artist that I have applied. I can see when I applied. So since I have 2 applications for this event, I can see that I made one purchase on July 16th, and then I made another purchase on September 17th. And so I can keep my application separate that way as well, just as I'm kind of looking through all of my different applications. Particularly useful if I'm an artist who applied more than once in different categories and wants to double check and see which ones are invited and which ones aren't. I'll be able to sort of see which application I did first that way. So that's kind of what it looks like applying with a coupon. And then same kind of so the process for applying with a coupon kind of implies that you have a bit of a different process than an invite-only event. So invite-only, they might move directly to invited. You might do the process that way. With coupon codes, you might instead choose to move artists to exempt from jury. So I'm going to move all of these artists to exempt from jury. Artists in the exempt from jury status do not have the option to accept or decline their invitation, but they do have the ability to purchase booth products. And so I'm going to also just make sure that this is not in progress so that we can see everything super clearly. And once they're in exempt from jury, on this page, once we just refresh it, I'll be able to see that both of these applications are exempt from jury. I can review the application, or I can go directly to my cart, and I will be able to see my various booth purchase options so that I can then reserve a product. So if I already paid for a booth spot as an artist with a coupon code, and I've also rolled over the booth fee, I can add the booth product to the cart, go down to coupons, and I believe I have the same coupon code for that one. So I can click apply. I get 100% off because we did the coupon as a percentage off rather than an amount off. So really simple for the artist to just immediately go back into ZAPP, do the coupon code, click apply, and then check out free items. Once I do that, again, I get a receipt and see that it's 100% off. Go back to my ZAPPlications, and I can see that I am now in the confirmed status for this event. So that would signal to me as an artist that I have completed everything that I need to for this specific event, and I am essentially ready to go. And I've officially rolled over all of my fees, which is a really nice thing to see. So using a coupon code would only require an artist to maybe go into ZAPP twice, just kind of depending on how fast you do it. If you want to stagger things a little bit more, you can just communicate hey, apply by this date, and then booths will be available to purchase from X date to X date. Make sure you purchase your booth by then, because then they will open up to new artists. As long as you're communicating those timelines with your artists, you should be totally fine. And while it seems like a very different process on your end, on their end, it's a pretty similar process, because they're still applying, they're still accepting their invitation or going directly to the ZAPP shop to purchase products. And they're using a system that really isn't changing too much for them. And one of the reasons we're doing all of this is to keep things super clear for artists. That's kind of why we have invite-only events, and why we're keeping everything just really standardized across all events, and requiring things like jury details now, and really highly encouraging notification dates, communicating with your artists. All of those pieces are just to make everything as smooth as possible as we move into 2021 and kind of deal with the ramifications of the pandemic, essentially. So then once I'm on the event management page, if I go back and I look here, I can click on confirmed. I'm going to turn on purchases. Okay, and so one of the things I wanted to talk about here is how easy it can be to then manage those artists once they're in. So I moved all of my artists to exempt from jury just to make it really easy, so we could spend most of our time on the artist side of ZAPP in that section. But as an admin, what would happen is if you keep the payments column up on your events table, and if it's not up, you can kind of do what I just did, which is click on the table editor, make sure it's selected, and then click save. Once you have that section up, you'll be able to see which coupon they used and what was the discount off. So if I'm doing that and I'm going through my artists like that, then I can see as an admin that this is an artist who used the 2020 artist coupon applying to my 2021 event. So I'm going to create a tag that says 2020 artist. So I can keep things super clear, super helpful if you also have if you have like first come, first serve booth spaces that are going to be first come for your returning artists. This is going to help you keep everything sort of organized just on your end. That way you don't use multiple statuses, you can just keep them in different tags. And as I mentioned earlier, you can now email by tag and segment your emails by tag. So you can go ahead and just make sure that you're keeping all of your communication really straight, and you can keep your management really, really straight. Obviously, tags will also download into any of the reports that you download. So, if you want to reference the answers report, pull all the information there. If you want to cross-reference it to 2020, you can also use the tag to do that filter. If you don't want to just have the question, like if you don't care about having a custom question that asks whether or not an artist is returning from 2020 or not, you can just have the coupon code and then tag them when they come in, and that will also allow you to filter these different reports. Is there a specific reason to choose invite application over coupon? If I have already accepted artists and want to invite them for the 2021 event, which would be the better option to use? So the big difference between using a coupon code and using invite only is that coupon code events are anticipating reopening their applications for new applicants to their 2021 event. So say you have 300 artists at your event, only 150 chose to roll over their fees or chose to be invited into 2021. If that's the case, use a coupon code so you can accept applications while you are also getting the information from the artists who rolled over from 2020. If you have a situation that's a bit more like all of your artists have rolled over their invitation to 2021, you don't anticipate reopening applications, then use invite only, because then nobody will even have the chance to apply. So you're going to want to use invite only in that situation, because if you used a coupon code, there would still possibly be some artists who would be willing to pay, say, a jury fee to be juried in, even though you're not hosting a jury, which inevitably creates the need for refunds, a bit more like uncertainty around events than is ideal. If you are in a position where you're thinking more like 90%, you're like anticipating most of your artists will come in, but you might jury a couple, I think you probably go invite and then tell us when you're ready to open applications, and we can change your application to be not invite. That might be really helpful if you're not planning on opening applications, but you think there's a chance that you might probably still stick with invite only in that particular instance, because you won't want to accept applications until you're absolutely sure that you're going to need like a couple. And even in that case, you might just choose to go backwards through your artist list, choose from the wait list, and send them an invite-only code. That's another consideration with all of these codes. If you do have a wait list, I recommend waiting to roll over anyone in that wait list until you have space for them. So you start with your confirmed artists, then move to your wait list, because it's going to keep things clean for you, first of all. And then second of all, if you're in a position where per app fees are going to impact you in any way, shape, or form, you can just keep those lower by not inviting anyone off your wait list until you have space for them at your event. Okay, I have another question. Can coupons be date-driven for early payment discounts? Yes, so that is actually one of the ideal ways to use coupons. So nowadays we have early bird and late fee options. So if you're curious specifically for the application and the jury fee, you can actually implement an early bird or late fee, and this will happen automatically once you've sort of set everything up, and you can start, maybe your cost is $15 for an early bird fee, $45 for a late fee, and $30 for your normal fee. You can do all of that date by date, and you don't have to use a coupon code. That's probably the simplest way to do it if you are doing sort of early bird, late fee, jury fee deadlines. We're planning on rolling that out for all fees, but we don't have it yet. So that would be an ideal place to use coupon codes. So say an artist might get like $10 off your booth by confirming by a certain date. You could have that information be public on your event information page, and then you could also add it within your notification. So once you invite artists, you could send this coupon code again to your invited artists and let them know that if they reserve by this date, they get a certain amount off. We can put it by, just say 200 for now, and then you could say like early bird, this coupon code can be whatever you want, and it can go literally up until the date by which that will no longer be applicable. So maybe they just have 1 month. If they purchase within a month, they get a certain percent off, and you can apply it to any product. If you do percentage, it's going to work as well. And that's a really good way to handle changing fees specifically to incentivize early bird fees. Can't really do late fees with coupons. It doesn't really work to add money with a coupon code. So yeah, that's kind of how you can handle that with coupon codes if you're specifically interested in booth fees or any other fees. If you're doing it for the jury fee, I would recommend using early bird and late fees for that. So the last thing that we're going to go through is what it's going to look like as an artist who is just applying brand new in 2021. They didn't apply to your event in 2020, or they didn't get in 2020. I'm going to act like it is an event that has a portion of its artists rolling over to 2021, but is still accepting applications. So we're going to stick with the Lilac event. And I'm just going to walk through some of the things that an artist is going to see on ZAPP. I'm not going to start a profile from scratch, but I will show you what it looks like. So as an artist, I can come over to my profile and review information. So when an artist registers on ZAPP, they'll have to give all of this information to register. Essentially, anything in bold is required. As an artist, I can reset my password on this page. We obviously have a reset password link outside of this page as well, so they can get in if they forget their password. I can update my email address. I will note that ZAPP runs a email bounce report every single time we send an email, which is about 3 to 4 times a week. I believe it's 3 times a week. And we, after sending an email, we'll see if it bounced off anybody's email, and then we will come in and remind them essentially to update their email. So we require email verification if an email bounces. So hopefully email addresses are always up to date. And then all of this information is here as well. So I know what a lot of events have done when they have canceled, if they've refunded by check, they've asked artists to go in and double check this information. All of the location information lives within their profile and is automatically pulled into their application on ZAPP. So if you're asking artists to go in and verify location information, address information, all that's going to be on their profile. If they need to add a team or say they work with associates, that's going to be on their profile as well. If I say yes, this second section is going to open, and I have the option to add 3 associates or 1 team member if I had said yes, I was working with a team. Medium selection, artists choose up to 3 disciplines that say what their work essentially is. We use these for our paid e-blasts so that you can segment e-blasts by what medium categories they're in. And these are just our medium categories. Yours might be slightly different, and they can choose up to 3. And that's kind of where they can do that. Email notifications, they cannot opt out of the emails you send through the communication tool on ZAPP, because that has pertinent information about what you need from them before they come to your event, or lets them know if they've been accepted or invited, all of that. But they can opt in and opt out to any ZAPP communications within their profile. They can also do it on their My ZAPPlications page. So if you have an artist account, you're wondering why you're getting so many emails from us, or you're wondering why you're never getting emails from us, it's probably within this section. These are all going to be artist-specific emails. If you're not getting admin-specific emails, which you probably are because you're at this webinar, let us know and we can look into that for you, because that's a separate list. And then now, brand new, they also have saved payments. So they can save credit card or PayPal payments to be used at a later time. Within this section, they can also delete and edit saved payments. So as a new artist, what I might also need to do is upload an image. So that's going to live in my portfolio. It's one of the quick header items up here. And there's 2 sections to it. There's the artist portfolio, and then there's saved statements. These are where statements of technique live that they can automatically enter. 90% of the time, if they're having a hard time automatically entering a statement of technique, it's because the statement is too long and you've asked for a statement of technique with a shorter word count. So statement of technique word counts are determined by administrators. They can be, I believe, 100 characters is the minimum, I think, and then it's something like 1,000 characters is the maximum. As an artist, I might create multiple different statements of technique that essentially say the same thing, but in different amounts of characters with different amounts of detail, depending on what an admin wants. And if I try to enter, say, a 1,000 character statement of technique into a 200 character statement of technique, it just won't work and it won't save. So they'll also get an error code, but if they do reach out to you with questions that particularly about statements of technique, it's typically because it's too long. I can edit and upload any images in here. So if I click on an image, I'll have the option to copy it, edit it, which also allows me to change out the image itself and delete it. Might be useful for them to change out images themselves if it's not high quality. If it has a watermark, they can also just change it out for one that isn't, just by clicking edit and then clicking replace this image. If they don't want to click edit, typically at that point, you can definitely relay them to us. But if for whatever reason you end up feeling this question and they don't want to edit the actual image itself, they don't want to change this particular listing for this image, they can copy it and then they can edit the image there. They can rename it as an image without the watermark. If I want to upload a new image, I can just click upload media. I'll first select whether or not this is my booth shot. So I can select yes if it is, no if it isn't. If I select no, I'll have more things to fill out. If I select yes, all I'll need to do is choose the file, choose the image. Price, measurement, type, height, width, depth, and medium, and image name. Those are all required fields, and they all pull into ZAPP as well. So you and your jurors can review all of that information. You can review them on the artist citation page. Jurors can review them by clicking on the image within their jury settings. So now, as a brand new artist, I need to find an event. There are a couple of different ways I can do that. One of which I can click click apply to shows. I can filter events by name, state, event month, deadline month, region, event type. We also have a virtual event type now, and whether or not they're jury. I can also filter this to show invite-only events, or I can filter it to show favorite events. Favorites roll over year after year so that artists can favorite an event once and then apply to it again and again. So filter is going to be most useful for artists because they can find something in a specific region. So say they know that they're going to an event in Florida and they know that they're going to be there in January. So they want to look for a application for an event in Florida in January. So there are 15 events that are happening in Florida in January right now that are also accepting applications. So that's one way artists can find your event or any event that they're looking for. They can also check via the calendar. They'll be able to see a full listing of events. Red are application deadlines, gray is event start dates, green are accepting application dates. And so they have all the same options to search and filter their event. They can also view this in a compact form just to see everything a little bit easier on one page. And depending on their search criteria, I can click on a day and the event cards will load, and this will give me as an artist a little bit more information about each event, when deadlines are, whether or not, when their notification date is, what their application fee is, do they require a booth, all of that information is going to be here for them to find. So those are probably the two ways that they're going to be able to find events easiest. If you are not currently accepting applications and you're wondering how artists will still find your event, they can find it within the events list itself, which is our list that includes every single event that's on ZAPP. Is, if they're not logged in, they're more likely to come to this page than apply to shows. Apply to shows only appears if they're logged in. But you can see there's 789 events listed. If I go to apply to shows, there's only 194 events listed. So it's kind of the difference between those pages. But if you have an account with us, then your event will always be listed on ZAPP unless you're currently editing it. So your event will be up after your application deadline, up until the point where you renew and start editing your new application. After that time, it will be taken off momentarily. And then once you publish it, it'll be, live again on our site. It'll be on the apply to shows page, events list, so long as it meets the criteria. So it'll always be on the events list. Will only be on apply to shows while you're currently accepting applications. Let's say I do know that I want to apply to this event. And so I'm coming back here. A couple of applications that will start another. And now I'm an artist who's not rolling over. So I'm just going to treat this like a normal application. It's going to be completely the same for me. And I'm going to just go through, choose these, and then I'm going to click no, so I don't have to answer that additional question. Click save and continue. And now it's going to probably be important to me as an artist what order these are in. So I can either select these in the order I want them to be in, booth shot will always be last, or I can select them in whatever order and then click change image order to move them around, just like we were before. Artists are more likely to do this at this stage where they are currently looking at applying to a new event, and it matters what order their images are shown to the jury. So I'm going to check out, and then everything is completely normal from here. The application fees, once an artist clicks checkout, will automatically be moved into their cart, so I actually don't even need to add it again. I'm going to go right down to payment information because I don't have a coupon code, and I'm obviously not going to change the quantity to purchase more than one application fee. And I'm going to choose check, and I'm going to go ahead and click check. If you're not accepting check payments, then they will only have the option to pay by credit card. I can add that, and then I can add a note. Notes appear on your event management table, and they also as artist messages, and they also are downloadable. So a lot of events use notes as a way to collect booth requests, but they can be used for pretty much anything. So I might say that this was sent, 9/17. Submit check payment, and then I will get a receipt that shows that how much I paid. It will also tell me where to send my check payment. If I paid by credit card, I won't need to send a check anywhere. It will just go right into ZAPP. And then on ZAPP, what I can see as an event is I have a new person in awaiting payment by check. So what I will do for this is I'll come down to this application, which is my awaiting payment by check. I can see related applications, so I can see that this person applied more than once, just so I can double check as I go. And I can also, so say I received this check payment, I'll move it to received. And at that point, I also want to move the artist to received so that everybody knows that, hey, the check was received, everything's good to go, you're going to be juried. Artist in the received status will be juried, or will be pulled into the jury if you are jurying through ZAPP. And that's kind of what it looks like for an artist who is brand new to apply. It's pretty simple. They just need to upload images, find and fill out the application, and then they're good to go.